What's happening? Andy here. I am joined by Andre Durbano. We are on location at the Rizzo Communication Center. We're in Woburn, Massachusetts. How are you, Andre?
I'm very well. Welcome.
So, well, we're going to take a tour. We're going to walk around. We're going to see some machines, and Andre's going to give us the overview and tell us what's happening at Rizzo. Let's start over here. You want to show me?
Sure. So, Andy, this is what has become an extremely popular technology. This is the VALEZUS T2200. Right? This is a technology that will print an output of 320 impressions per minute. So that's like 19,800 an hour. It's essentially 160 sheets of paper duplexed simultaneously. So while the Rizzos can duplex all day and all night, what we've done with this technology is we've removed the task of duplexing away from the units and given it to this device right here, which is kind of a perfector unit, okay? So that is where the duplexing is now taking place. And so what happens is you're getting output from, or input from our 8,000 sheet paper deck through the first unit. The paper is then flipped here at a very high rate of speed onto the second unit, and it's essentially printing 160 sheets of paper duplex simultaneously.
So this is two printers harnessed together with almost, I don't know, not an inverter, but a duplexer, I guess, right?
A duplexer, a perfector, sure.
Wow, so amazing. So you've got two machines essentially running in concert.
Correct. So where we had the 4,000 sheet paper deck, everything is double here. We went from a 4,000 sheet paper deck to an 8,000.
Yeah.
We went from 1 unit to 2 units combined, and on the back end we went from the one stacker you saw earlier to a double stacker, 4,000 sheets each. And this is where I mentioned earlier with the dolly system, if one is full, you can get to work on it, pull it out while the unit continues to feed onto the subsequent stacker. And same with the 4,000 sheet paper deck, which is divided into 4 and 4. That's 8,000. So as one empties out, you can fill the other. So again, we're talking about 160 sheets of paper that are duplexed simultaneously.
Now these are complete beasts of a machine, right? We were talking earlier, I think you said one customer was doing something like, they had multiple machines, each of them were doing over 250,000 pages a day. Was that right? A day?
So we have one customer doing 250,000 per unit, because they have 4 of these per day. So it's 1 million
doing
a day.
Million a day on 4 units.
Correct.
And
so that's 5 million a week, 20 million a month.
7+ million pages a month for each machine.
That's correct.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Don't trust my math.
yeah. Well, for 20 million a month, 4 units, it's about 20 or 5 million per unit. So, you know, the thing is, a lot of people look at Rizzo and they say, inkjet, oh, I like the fact that you can print envelopes. Sure, right? We can do envelopes anytime you want, but they then pigeonhole us into being an envelope solution, where the reality is, this is what we're designed to do. This is where the money is for any salesperson who sells Rizzo, for any production dealer, production salesperson. This is a really nice way of getting into the production market without having to go head to head with the big names out there on the toner side, okay? Because the alternatives to this type of technology are all at $1 million. Anything remotely close to us, you have maybe Kyocera, right? So that's maybe one direct competitor we have. Epson's way below this level of product, all right? So it's a very unique space. It's limited in terms of competition compared to selling toner production, where, again, you're going up against the Canons, the KMs, the Ricos, the Xeroxes. That's a tough space, especially for a dealer, okay? So, and mind you, there's a lot of dealers who do that successfully.
When you're comparing to that space, right, none of those machines, by the way, have the speeds that this can achieve, right? 320 impressions
No, this is among the fastest in the world.
None of them in the price category have the monthly volumes. That they can't support that kind of volume of you know.
Well, this will do 2 to 3 million a month.
250,000 a day we were just talking about.
Yeah.
So price-wise, how do they stack up with a xerographic machine? If a customer is looking at one of those other brands, xerography, they're looking maybe 100, 120 a minute. right? There's obviously some things about it that they like, but what are some of the strengths this versus that? How does it stack up price-wise, speed-wise?
Sure. So the nice thing about RISO in general is the extensive lineup of inkjet units that we have, from a low of about $25,000 to a high of in and around $250,000, maybe $300,000 if you load it up with software. But that's it, right? Everything else above this is in that seven-figure range when you get into Xerox, Ricoh, Canon, Konica Minolta.
So four times as much.
Absolutely.
To be able to print, and those really don't achieve the same speeds as this, right? They're
those $1 million devices.
Yeah.
Oh, they achieve the speeds.
Do they?
And
okay.
they achieve at that price. They achieve
but
a lot more.
But at 4 times the
too.
cost.
At 4 times the cost. Yeah. So the nice thing is there's a lot of customers. These are two opposite ends of the inkjet spectrum. Mm-hmm. Okay. There are those that have the volume, the need for what those products can do, and they will invest $1 million into those technologies. But there's a lot more who are new to inkjet. They're just getting into inkjet, or have a smaller unit, want to upgrade. This is where you go. You come to RISO because we can set you up at a $50,000 range, a $100,000 range, a $200,000 or $300,000 range. We have a solution configured to meet whatever budget you may have. And so this is where you certainly start with RISO, but this is where you grow. As I said, we have one customer with, about 3 weeks ago we installed one customer out west took 3 of these for their print shop. I mentioned the one in Atlanta that's got 4. So a lot of RISO customers have multiple units. And you asked me something about the ink earlier. I said we come back to it. The reason why they have multiple units is we use an oil-based ink. Mm-hmm. Compared to the rest of the industry, which is primarily water-based. Now, when you're using a water-based ink, you need a decurler. You need a dryer. That adds footprint to your device. We don't have any of that. Our ink is oil-based. It is instant dry. The second the print heads will spray that image onto the paper, it'll stick to the fibers of the paper. It is instant dry. So the fact that we don't need those additional accessories means smaller footprint. We're 16 feet. Okay? A Kyocera is 23 feet. When you look at a Canon, a Xerox, they're well over 30 feet, possibly in and around 35 feet. Okay?
That wouldn't fit in here.
No, it wouldn't. No, we need a much bigger room. So we do actually win a lot of bids on footprint alone. And let me tell you something about print shops. Real estate is really important, as you know from your background. So that's the first thing they ask is, how is this going to fit? Where is it going to fit? How much space do I need? Yeah, 16 feet is all you need. And so when you have 2, 3, 4 of these lined up in a row, it really is a very small corner of that print shop, generating a very high amount of output.
Well, when you're selling to print shops, I noticed this one looks like a regular controller. I saw Fiery around here. What kind of options do you have for the controllers? Because now you're getting into an area, right, where they like to have, there's different needs, variable data and some, and what kind of options do you have at this level?
Is a different animal. This is the Alpha Stream. Okay. It's manufactured by a European company called Tag G. They've been doing this for RISO and other companies for many years. That is a powerful device right here, designed to manipulate a lot of data with the speed we're printing here and the volumes that we're printing. These are a lot of statements, invoices, with a lot of zip codes and names and addresses, and that thing right there is manipulating all that information so that the RISO doesn't have to do any thinking. That does all the brain work. The RISO is merely generating output as fast as it can. So it really is a nice
So it's funny
marriage.
because I know people really associate you guys with working just big, heavy, robust hardware, right? But it's this stuff that turns it into that next level, that next gen, where okay, now we've got the big heavy iron that can support the volume, but you've got to create the jobs, and whether it's you need ticketing, whether you need the variable data or some of the other stuff that this version has, definitely makes the devices more usable, right?
Sure.
Across the board for. So how many different controllers are available for the VALEZUS?
Well, so the VALEZUS, we use strictly the Alpha Stream, and yes, if you can say Pegasus, you can say VALEZUS.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't ask me what VALEZUS means. That's a whole other story in itself.
All right, that's the next interview.
Yeah. By the way, this technology is so successful. It's become so successful. This space, okay, that $200,000 to $300,000 space has become so popular where inkjet is concerned that we had a request from our customers. They wanted these accessories, but they didn't necessarily need the twin units. So this is the T2200. We're this month, September 2023, introducing the T1200, which we don't have on the floor yet, but if you can see this, you can see what a T1200 will be. It's basically these two, plus the one unit, and the 8,000 sheet.
Just shorten it up a little.
Yeah, shorten it up a little. So whereas, again, this configuration is anywhere from 250 to 300, the T1200 would be around 150,000. So a little bit more affordable that way. And we can see we already have orders for multiple units from one customer. Again, this is a technology that they tend to fill their print shops with it. You cannot run a print shop with no ink on your floor. You need some ink. Now, either you have an offset, and if you lost the offset or your pressman retired, you turn to a technology like this, which is ink, but on a digital platform.
Automated.
That anybody
Everything's can use. Yeah, you don't need to have somebody with the qualifications that you needed to run a press 20 years ago.
So when we talk about, we were at BTA last week.
Yeah.
Very successful event, once again, by the BTA group. Lots of dealers there, and every dealer is looking to diversify. They're all looking for an angle. They're looking for something different. They're all talking about production, but they know how challenging the toner production world can be. And they're looking at RESO for a couple of reasons. Number one, we don't really sell direct. We don't have branches. We don't have direct sales. We are a dealer operation. 95% of our sales come from our distribution channel. 5% from customers who say, no, we only want to deal with the manufacturer. So a very small percentage there. So we are a company that is designed for dealers, the dealer community, so they would never have to compete against a direct RESO. And number two, you and I were talking about this earlier, how the technology is such a nice complement to the toner devices that dealers sell. Dealers sell RESO in addition to their copier business, not instead of. You rarely find yourself in a situation where as a salesperson you need to decide, gee, do I sell them toner or do I sell them inkjet? This is always in addition to.
Yeah.
So it's a way for a salesperson at the dealer level to open some new doors, competitive doors that were in the past shut close to you because they're using some other competitive product. This gives you a chance to get in there with a slightly different type of technology. Some dealers are using RESO defensively to protect their fleet of production toner devices because they are all at risk of being replaced by a monster inkjet technology device, right? So they will, for that customer who has 10 of your toner devices, and they say, well, we're kind of thinking inkjet here. You say, got just what you need. How many do you want? 1, 2, 3. We can keep the toner devices here, place the RESOs over in that corner, and you'll have everything you need in terms of inkjet, even the ability to do envelopes and NCR, not just the high volume that this will do. Mm-hmm. So it's a great way for a dealer to either expand into new revenue generating opportunities or to protect their fleet of production devices. Very cool.
Well, big iron is one of the trends right now. A lot of dealers are taking a look at that. A lot of dealers are trying to move upstream a little bit because of the number of clicks that customers in that arena, in that market, make on a monthly basis, and everybody wants to get their share. This is a clever way to get into it, right? You've got the ability to get huge gobs of volume, even if your main brand, your main OEM doesn't carry xerographic machines in that category. But even if they do, to your point, complementing your toner portfolio with something that's unique and probably not available from any of your competitors. It's worth taking a look at. These things are absolute beasts. They run like crazy. We're going to post some videos of them spitting out some more envelopes and more paper, but they're just, you can feel it when they gear up and start spinning out some of that volume, that they're very robust machines.
I'm really happy that you took the time to come and see this in person. You and I have been doing interviews a couple of times a year for several years now. The fact that you made the effort to get into your car, drive all the way from Rochester to Boston. We're about 20 minutes north of Boston here in Woburn, Massachusetts, to see this live and in person. Speaks a lot about your dedication to the industry and the fact that you're constantly looking to be knowledgeable, because dealers do speak to you and they ask you about this stuff. So now you've seen it live and in person. So I really appreciate that.
I would highly recommend get in touch with your RISO rep if you haven't gone down this path before, or maybe if you haven't in a while. It's the technology is very, very impressive. You don't have anything in your demo room that does what these machines do. So give Andre a call, give Bobby a call. Really thank you very much for taking me through this. This was quite a treat. Thank you.
Pleasure.